Have you ever wondered how to stay, or not even just stay, but be competitive in a competitive market, or beat your competition in a competitive market? Well, the easiest way to do that is to actually build a brand. And many businesses miss this mark because they simply think that they're selling a product or service. They're not really selling a product or service. They're selling a vision of a future, of a better future, of a transformation that they can deliver to their customers. And when you tackle that, or you surround that with a brand, especially a personal brand that people can identify with, then you lift your business up to an entirely new level. And it allows people to have a deeper connection with your brand, with you personally, and your staff and your team. And when you do that, you elevate yourself. And this is why people like Apple folks will pay an exorbitant amount of money for products that are just at par with everything else in the market. But they will be brand advocates. It's the same reason why people like Harley Davidson riders or owners will tattoo the logo on themselves, etch that logo into their skin permanently. And that's an incredible feat for a business to be able to get people to that level where they'll literally etch their logo into their skin on a permanent basis. But that's really how you stay, not just stay competitive, but you beat the competition in any market, no matter what it's doing. We all know since about 2020, the market seems like it's just up and down, declines, rises, falls, pitfalls. Um, but certain brands have persevered through this type of climate, and Xpress-pay is one of them. We've actually been continuing to grow double digits every single year, year over year, and we love the fact that we are so connected with our clients, because when they call us for an issue, know they can rely on the answers that we're going to give them. It's not always the best answer, right? Sometimes we are held hostage by some people in the payments industry because of the role that we play, but we still always tackle these issues with our clients as fast as we can. Okay. So the way that you can be competitive, or not even just be competitive, but crush the competition in even a crappy marketplace, is to build a personal brand where your customers wouldn't even dream of going anywhere else, because they rely on you for more than just payments, or more than just light fixtures, or whatever you serve your customers with. When you build a personal brand that your customers can identify with, that becomes a part of your and their identities. And you guys will lock in a different type of relationship than just customer business, right? It's not just a transaction anymore. It's a type of, it's a piece of their, who they are as a person. It's a part of their persona. And when you tie into that, then you can elevate yourself in any competitive market. You can beat any competition. And to a certain point, there isn't any competition. I heard this great story about why is Apple so effective? Well, Microsoft is always out to beat Apple. Okay. They're always trying to one up Apple. They're always trying to find the next best thing. And a lot of the times, I remember the very first smartphone that I had, it was a Microsoft phone, and it was so much more functional than the iPhone when it first came out. But Microsoft was always trying to beat Apple. Apple is always trying to beat Apple, right? They're always trying to look internally and like, how can we do better? And they made the iPhone, and it blew up on the scene because it was just better than anything else in a more functional way. It wasn't so much that you could program it in the ways that you could with the Microsoft phone that I had. Even the keyboard was much better on the Microsoft. Like, most objectively, the Microsoft phone was so much better. But the outside stuff that they brought into the iPhone, the way that they positioned it, just like with the iPad, or excuse me, the iPod, it wasn't 10 gigs of music that you had. It was 10,000 songs you had in your pocket. That kind of stuff is when Apple is just trying to beat themselves, whereas Microsoft is always trying to outdo Apple. So if Microsoft just did an internal assessment of what are we really trying to do, who are we really inside, who are we as a person, they're dorks. They should just lean into that skid. Apple is affluent, wannabe affluent rich people, or people that want to look like they're rich. I think that's personally what Apple is, but it doesn't matter, because they have built this identity that people will buy or pay more for their stuff because they're Apple, and because they want to identify with that brand and the other people that use that brand. So if you want to be competitive, and not just be competitive, but like be the competition, try to outdo yourself, build a personal brand that people identify with, and be authentic. At the end of the day, people sniff out people that aren't authentic. That's why influencers are losing a lot of their ground right now, because it just doesn't, it just seems tacky, right? It just seems like they're out of touch with reality because they get all this free stuff, or they're positioning themselves to get free stuff. It's just played out. That's my personal opinion. And you see the influencers losing their influence, which is what their whole thing is. Anyways, the point is, if you want to stay and remain or crush the competition and be the competition, try to outdo yourself by serving your customers at a higher level. And you will always win. You will always win when you create a personal brand that you believe in, that you connect with, and your clients can connect with, and they can identify with. And that's really the moral of the story here. So hope that helps. If you guys want any more information on how that can work, how you can help build your own brand, and how we can help you at Xpress-pay, be sure to check out our featured video. Comment and connect with us in the comments below so that we can connect with you guys and we can learn more about your business and how we can help. And if you want more content like this, we have a lot of videos, so be sure to check those out. And we'll see you on the channel later. All right, thanks guys. Bye.